So auf der Pfanne.
Und in 739, 89.
Die letzte Kurve und dann Axel und Horst schon vorbei. Jung im Ziel und sie bleiben kommen. Great Britain and Helicopter and Männer-Zweierbob. to our next pilot flight.
Less than a minute away before we set our next pilot, so we can start to see our spectators and crowds supporting their favorite team. 17 teams make up this event. Less than a minute away for our next pilot flight. We're getting close to the It's the Skeleton team.
IBSF World Championships for Bobsleigh and Skeleton. Easy for me to say in Lake Placid, New York. And the final action for the skeleton sliders is the mixed teams competition. It's very straightforward. Instead of sliding for yourself, you slide for your nation with one male and one female slider in each team. So there's 17 teams. You can have up to 2 per nation. 10 nations competing here, and they have a single run each. So the female slider goes first, stops the clocks. The male slider goes second. Total time, wins it or doesn't. And uniquely, there is a traffic light starting system. So you don't go when you want to, you go when the lights change. So it adds a little bit of a different dynamic to the race. And this is something that the sliders really enjoy. Well, welcome back, everybody. Martin Haven, delighted to be joined by US athlete Nick Tucker. And Nick, this track is fast, it's tricky to drive, it's so easy to make mistakes. And the team competition, I'm not going to say it's a lottery, but it is hard to predict at the best of times. This could be a real humdinger of a race.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm pumped to be here. I got about 400 milligrams of caffeine coursing through my veins right now. This is a herky-jerky track. This is a washing machine. You got the Devil's Highway into Shady. It's going to be a big toss-up to see who can throw it down. It's a one-heat race. Let's see who has their ice in their veins, as they say.
And the combination here quite often of, well, say, for instance, Anna Fernstedt in the Czech Republic took a medal in the women's race. Her teammate Timon Johanovsky outside the top 20. So it's that kind of combination of athletic prowess. And sometimes a top 20 athlete will have a dreadful start, and sometimes a top 3 athlete will have a superb one to kind of bring the team back. It is a proper combination of both halves. You can see Austin Florin there in many different colours and guises, friends and family. Yeah, I think they've been on the caffeine as well. It says head first. My favourite is go faster, or we're calling it bobsled.
Mine would say, but when I finish under a minute, they laugh at me. You know, that's quite funny.
My favourite is I told them I was going to be a comedian. They laughed at me, and they're not laughing now. Okay, so Kimberly Boss, the world champion.
Man, she threw down yesterday, huh?
Yeah, she really did. Commendation from the king and queen of the Netherlands today. All that orange, by the way, not for Kim, not for the Dutch, although it is the House of Orange. It's the traditional colour of the Netherlands. That is for Axel Junk. His fan club, friends and family are here. They're always a noisy addition to any crowd at a European track, and good to see so many of them who have come over here. And it's a great place to come and watch this sport. It really is one of the absolute ground zero points for ice sliding. Been sliding down this mountain for 95 years. Only one place that I'm aware of, St. Moritz, has got a longer history. So it really is a great place to come. That's not a bad town to hang out in, is it?
No, no, it's not. I mean, you go down Main Street, and I'll address it right now. The skeleton athletes, they've been going for the past 2 days. This is their last night competing, and I know where every single athlete is going. Should we say it all at once?
I think
Zigzags.
we do, yeah.
No free shout-outs, but we'll see at zigzags.
They'll be zigging when they should be zagging by the end of the evening. So 17 sleds, and they are ranked by basically the combination of the standings of their 2 athletes in the IBSF points. So Austria will go last, and Spain will be first off. So Janine Flock, the World Cup champion, and Sammy Meyer, a race winner or medalist this season, finished in 3rd place in the World Cup standings. That is the highest combination. But we start with Spain and Clara Aznar and Adrian Rodriguez. So Clara will go first, and it's her coach and the head of the Spanish Federation who is holding the sled under Mirambel. And again, we'll see those start lights when we get a shot of the athlete. It basically counts down red lights, and when it goes green, there's an audible note as well to detect, to allow them to know that they can go.
And right when they're notified that they can take off, they have to push as fast as they can, because their reaction is going to be added to their downtime. If they start off before the red goes away, then they will they will be given a
penalty time.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah. So so a jump start effectively. The minimum reaction time is 700ths of a second, pretty much the same as in an Olympic 100-meter start. If you're faster than that, you're claimed to have jumped the gun. So.
All right. Now heading through Devil's Highway, out of 5 into 6. This is really where you're going to gain a bunch of speed and bring it through the entire track here. Now coming into Shady 2. Shades are open right there. What a great shot of the Jumbotron.
109.8 kilometers an hour.
Ooh, Spanish Airlines off of 12.
Funny, after watching bobsleds all day, how much a skeleton sled disappears in the chicane, even though she didn't hit.
Sure, it's looking a little bit bumpy as well after today. So hopefully the athletes have no issues getting down the track. But as we said before, this is a very technical track.
So 59.97. 20 corners, 19 corners for the skeleton sliders, and so many opportunities to make a mistake. And here you can see where she's coming in, where the bobsleigh brakes gouge out the ice. So it's actually a pretty uncomfortable, bumpy finish for our skeleton athletes.
It actually turns into a little bit of a ramp on the outrun there.
Well, there's her teammate, Anna Torres-Quevedo.
Oh, she got a bloody nose there.
Yeah.
Oh, get her a napkin.
Yeah.
All right, Adrian.
Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last. Lots of cut chins on this track as well.
Vamos, Adrian. Here we go now. See what he can do.
Track is clear to start.
So, time of start was a 9.15 seconds, which is a lot slower than you would normally see. But then normally the time isn't counted until the sled has actually started moving. And you may not move the sled 1 iota before you hear the sound. You can't be rocking it backwards and forwards. That will be counted as a jump start as well.
Right, so usually in a regular skeleton race, they can take their time. They got about a 30-second clip until they can take off from the bell.
Yep.
But this really comes down to the reaction, and if they can stay as still as possible, and once that bell takes off, they got to turn into a Ferrari and take off down the track.
Well, his reaction time, 1600ths. That's a pretty quick reaction time. There won't be too many getting down to a 1/10 of a second because nobody wants to jump the start.
All right, the speed coming out of Shady 2. Okay, 111.
It's a decent push out of Shady. Down into the labyrinth.
Shoot it straight here, Adrian. Yeah, there you go, man.
Nice run through the chicane and higher speeds than they were used to in the last couple of days competing on the track. Today's ice has been hardest and fastest of the week so far, since training anyway.
I mean, if that's the case, hopefully we see another track record. You know, we had Matt Weston break the track record.
Yep.
How long was that track record up for from Tretyakov?
2016, I think. I thought, yeah, maybe a little more recently. I have the piece of paper with me. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, so he got a little bit of airtime coming out of corner 12, going into 13. But there's nothing better than competing along your teammate. Skeleton is an individual sport. So you really spend all summer training, eating, sleeping, hanging out with your teammate, and making sure that you're the best shape going into the season. And once the season starts, you're competing by yourself. So for you to compete alongside your teammate, that's really what makes it go around.
2019 is the answer. That's when the track record came from.
Okay.
Now then, why is a Dutch slider holding the sled for a Belgian slider? Not because they're near neighbours in terms of countries, but because they train together. Lena Peltman trains with Kim Boss and is also on a Bromley sled and coached by Kristen Bromley.
Oh, there's Kim in the back.
Yeah. So the two of them spend a lot of time. They room together, they travel together, they train together. 9:25 is the start, so a 10th down on Clara Asnar, and you can, not only do you have the total time, but when the female slider is going, you can directly compare her time against her rivals individually. So 10th back in the start, 1300s back at the moment, and the running clock for Belgium is for this slider against her counterpart in the Spanish team.
Low line coming through Shady 2. So when you're setting up your Devil's Highway, it really starts in corner 1. She had a pretty good highway, I would say.
Nice chicane as well, third best speed. Now the male sliders kind of skew that a little because they're heavier, faster, they tend to produce better speed than their female counterparts. 400s back, that's very tight.
I don't know, man, I'll be honest with you, I think this sport is a finesse sport, and I'll be honest with you, I think overall the female sliders are better than some of the male sliders. I will speak for myself. I did get whooped up by my teammate Sarah Roderick all year. So, Sarah, you're welcome that I mentioned this.
Well, there's Kristen Bromley with the sled, celebrated his birthday yesterday with a gold medal for Kim Boss. And now Colin Freeling. His mum and dad are watching down at the finish area. I'm really excited about this guy coming into the Olympic year. I was talking to him in the start house, and he actually left his job a couple months ago, so this will allow him to focus on going to the Olympic year. And the other thing he's going to do is he's going to move to Bath in England, where the British skeleton team train. He's moving to the University of Bath. He's going to spend the whole summer training with the Brits. Now, he's coached by the Brits as well, so yeah, he's really going to try and tap into that, because he knows that what he really needs is more starts. Ooh. Second fastest start time, or reaction time. Almost missed his sled there. Coming out of 1 into 2. You want a small crossover entering 2. And you really want to stay off this right wall going into 3. Little toe in 3.
And now you really want to treat the highway kind of like a half pipe, right? You want to go up and down, and that's really what's going to get you the speed coming at 7 into 8.
It is quite dramatic with the skeleton sled, isn't it? You see a lot of height in what are really quite short corners.
Is he on a Bromley? Because I know the Bromleys really like to climb. Here we go, Belgium Airlines. Okay.
Yeah.
I get a little nervous when I see athletes enter 12, middle to middle late.
Again, a lot of better runs through the chicane than we did in the singles competition. Spain, the leaders on the bottom. Belgium at the top.
Fourth best speed.
And he was 4,500s back.
Oh, Spanish team.
Yeah. So, Spain with the lead. Now, somebody fetch them some jackets, because now the wind has picked back up again. It is not warm outside at all. You
know what is warm though, Martin? Is this 2x2 booth we're sitting in. Okay? I met you last year. You're a friendly guy. At least take me out to dinner first, okay?
Hey, I'm afraid the hot tub isn't operational yet. Well, there you go, Elaine Peltmans with her start. She had a decent reaction time, little wild through the top of the Devil's Highway. And Elaine Peltmans, Colin Freeling of Belgium, that's their World Championships completed. Now for Switzerland, the first of our 2 Swiss teams. Teenager Sarah Schmidt with Livio Summermatter to come. Livio didn't make the cut in the men's competition. A little bit disappointed with that, actually. And I'm quite surprised that he didn't make, just not with enough knowledge yet of this track. And for a lot of the younger Europeans, knowledge of Lake Placid is hard to come by. They know a lot of the European tracks where they grew up,
sure,
but not this place.
I would say I think Livio is going to do well in this competition. It is a start heavy comp, so we'll see what he can do. Ooh, big skate going into 3.
Well, my answer to that is always, you can give me the fastest start and I'm still going to hit everything on the way down. So it's not all about the start. It's definitely a big factor. And particularly if you hang around once the lights are changed, then you're just giving away time. 3,700s up on the Spanish slider, Clara Aznar.
Yes, there was, I think, they held a rookie training camp the week of paid training, and it's kind of funny, the Americans actually had more forerunners than athletes training in that session.
600s up and into the red behind Clara Aznar. That was a good run from the Spanish slider, definitely. 300s back in the end. Sarah Schmidt just found enough at the exit of the Heart to sneak in front. Don't forget, though, Belgium were 400s away from the Spanish, and the second leg didn't quite go in their favor.
A lot of these athletes are they have the face of just being relieved. They've been through the ringer the past 2 days.
Well, and 2 weeks, because as you said, you know, there was a lot of training last week, and then this week the official training, and then 2 days of competition, and you pile the pressure on yourself to perform. You don't want to let yourself down, don't want to let your team down, your coaches.
Champs, man.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't just a World Cup race. Like, you have your North American Cup, you have your EC, you have your World Cup, but then the whole different level is World Champs, man. This is where all the money's made in the summer.
There's only one thing bigger, and that's coming in Cortina next year. So Livio Summermatter, let's see what he can produce. It's not always exactly the same time period between the red lights completing and then getting the audible, so you can't judge it, even if you could judge it to hundreds. A 1/10 of a second up from the start, and a good reaction time as well from Livio, 1900ths of a second.
Yeah, so there's 0.75 seconds between each red light, and then there's going to be 0.3 to 1 second to when that red light disappears.
And I can't think that there's been such a long one as 1 second, but I'm sure there might have been, but then the temptation to twitch must be enormous.
Well, good line out of Shady too.
Third best speed. 1500s up. Just about holding on.
Yeah, nice shot.
Look, Sarah watching it intently in the leader's box. Oh, somebody has got the Spanish some coats. Well done. They probably need another layer if they're going to stay in the leader's box. No, 2/10s back. Wow. Switzerland fall as well. The Spanish hang on. Right, Anna, I know Anna is down there, Anna Torres-Quevedo. She's going to have to go back into the dressing room and get some more clothing.
Spain is really knocking these teams down one by one, man. This is awesome. Oh, we have a sensor on the ground.
Yes, we do. So that's dropped out of the sled. Now, where is that? It's on the ice.
Yeah, that's not good. That's a good one.
So it's at the exit of the Heart. That's down 17, 18 territory. So one of the track workers will make their way down and rescue that.
Hopefully they pick it up, you know.
Yeah, they will do. Well, because Swiss Timing want it back.
No pun intended.
These things don't come for free. Right, athletes have to go in and get weighed as well.
Tell you what, man, these athletes are just letting it fly off of corner 12. I'll tell you what, hopefully this brings more views to IBSF.
Yeah. What, more than Sammy Meyer, Mr. 50 million hits?
Well, 50 million. Did you see
50 million.
Did you see me fall out of the track last year? When I was holding that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. And then we had Mr. Cameraman at the finish thinking it was WWE. Ran over to the end of the dock.
All right, so Switzerland too has fallen by the wayside. Spain still lead after our first 3 sleds. Little bit of a tentative start then from Julia Simpson. Sort of went but wasn't quite sure that she was going. It's a strange starting position anyway.
But do you gamble and try to catch the light, or do you wait a little bit just to make sure? Because you want to be have a penalty of a half a second.
I don't think anybody gambled. I don't think anybody's trying to anticipate the light, but sometimes you just twitch your sled a little. And I think that's what happened to Matt Weston in St. Moritz, where he got penalised. And they would have won that race, but ended up in 3rd. They were still so quick.
As the young Matt Antoine once said, scare money doesn't make money.
1700's back. She's bringing the margin back down from 2500s.
3rd best speed.
Clara Asnar, I'm liking her first heat run more and more. Now,
ooh, late line.
Oh, lots of height.
Crazy.
Julia Simpson from sliding family. Her mum and dad were both skeleton athletes. Connie Simpson for Germany and Alain Wicki, her dad, for Switzerland. He was a World Championship silver medalist, and Jean Wicki, her grandfather, was a bobsledder for Switzerland as well.
I mean, that's awesome. You got a family affair, and you're following those footpaths, man. That's awesome.
So though she represents Switzerland, Altenburg is her home track.
I'd be terrified if that was my home track.
No, because you'd learn there, and everywhere else seems like gravy.
Oh, right. I mean, I learned in Lake
Placid.
Here. Yeah,
the Europeans are terrified of this place the way that Americans and Canadians are terrified of Altenburg.
I'll give you that.
Quote, terrified. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you learn at Whistler, nowhere's quick. If you learn in Sigulda, nowhere's rough. All right, so Julia Simpson for Switzerland is done, and they are 2600s in the hole. Down to Vincent Buff, one of 3 sliding brothers. He's the middle of the 3.
And his oldest brother, I think, Jacques, it's a Jean-Jacques, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's actually the king of Cresta Run.
All right, okay. Well, Jean-Jacques started in skeleton for Switzerland and now represents Liechtenstein. And the youngest, Valentin, also slides for Switzerland in Europa Cup. Well, the Cresta is where skeleton started. It runs parallel, not quite parallel, but alongside down the valley to the St. Moritz Bob track. And yeah, the skeleton sleds they use now, the quickest sliders are very similar to our race sleds.
Yeah, it's a sliding family. You can just watch Vince slide, and he just molds that sled. He looks like a snake slithering around the corners.
Long, lean, narrow shoulders. It's a great aerodynamic shape.
Ooh, shot it straight.
Oh, look at that. But look at the gap. Still 5700 back. He's not bringing back 6/10. I don't care how much #1 speed he's got.
Vamos, Spain.
Yeah. They're getting very excited.
They might have to have a siesta.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Well, I know they haven't just come from zigzags, but I think they're going to enjoy going to zigzags later. Zigzags, by the way, is the family bar for the entire bobsleigh and skeleton fraternity. There's nowhere else like it in the entire tour, apart from maybe Mr. Biscuits in Sigulda.
Oh, okay.
So everybody goes there, but they don't do beer. They do cakes and coffee and whatnot.
I wonder if we keep mentioning zigzags, they'll just give the bar free drinks.
Doesn't happen.
We don't know that.
It's been tried. Don't ask me how I know. So Vincent's Buff, well, Julia Simpson, she had a big line and a big height, but didn't really get the most out of the sled.
Oh, here we go. We got the...
Oh, there we go. So,
we got the first American team here.
Both Swiss teams fall by the wayside. Spain lead after 4. And this is very probably, it will be a big shock if it's not, where the Spanish Armada gets rocked. Kelly Curtis and Dan Barefoot. I thought Kelly had a really good couple of days in the women's competition, and Dan as well.
I mean, she had more than a couple days, man. She had an awesome year. Yeah. And even Dan threw down yesterday. I think he had a push PB. He's riding high. I saw him drinking caffeine for the first time. That kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, Kelly coming back from a year away, having her daughter, and she's here as well as the rest of the family. So it's been really nice, actually, to come out and meet some of these new babies that you've heard so much about over the last 12 months. Second best speed, she's still in the green. 6,500s up.
Come on, Kelly.
Swoops down, legs akimbo.
She's relaxed.
Yeah, but that's a way of stopping the sled yawing as well.
Head down and relax. That's the Kelly Curtis way.
Yeah. Very similar style.
That's a big gap there. We needed that.
To Katie Eulander.
I'm sorry, do I sound biased?
No, not at all. You're allowed to.
Oops.
I think people would be surprised if you weren't supporting the US.
Who should I root on? Germany? No.
Well, I think like everybody else, you're just looking for a good, entertaining race. And you know, these are all good fun races. Yes, sure. This one is for World Championship gold, and next year it'll be for the Olympics as well, which is going to be a real first. That might change the nature of it a little.
And although it's for a medal, this is just a more relaxed race. You know, everyone's very uptight over their individual finish, and they got through that hump, and now this is the topping on the cake. Let's go barefoot. Thank God he's not running barefoot on ice.
Yeah,
that's low-hanging fruit.
You
right
just wouldn't move, would you? Your foot would be stuck. All right, so the advantage, 1.13 seconds. These guys should be in the leader's box at the end of this run.
Look at his stomach. There you go, Dan. Matt
Antoine yelling them off. Now, so Matt comes from the generation where we had a team competition with men and women's skeleton, two-man bob, and women's bobsleigh.
I just learned about this today, and if anyone who makes the decisions for IBSF, bring that back. Well, I'm telling you, the federations would love it. If we get the chance, we got to bring that back.
Tried to get into the games, and they wouldn't have it, and now...
Every athlete wants it.
Yeah, but now this is the Olympic discipline that gives an extra medal opportunity for skeleton. So they figure men have 2, women now have 2 with mono. Skeleton athletes have 2 opportunities for medals as well. And again, equal status.
Best speed coming out of Shady 2.
Looking good.
Stay off that wall. Best speed coming out of 14, 118.
2,500's up on his own ahead of Arjen Rodriguez.
So Dan has awesome feel with the sled. You can tell he had a high line in 17, and he had to drop that left anchor just to make sure he got into 18 correctly.
There you go. Spain say adios.
Oh, adios, amigo.
Indeed. And amiga.
Amiga, yes, sir.
There we go. So 57.25 for Dan Barefoot.
There you go, Barefoot.
And again, it's a little tough to kind of compare and contrast with what they did in the singles races, because the track was different, the weather was different, and also their start was so much quicker because they start when they want to, not, I'll go now.
Right, and there's Barefoot's family right there, and I'll tell you what, as an athlete that's been able to have family at a race, that means so much. All of our tracks are in remote locations, so if they ever get a chance to have a family at a race, that means the world. Mom, if you're listening, please keep coming to my races.
Well, there you saw Kelly high and Dan through the chicane.
Oh, that chant gets me fired up.
I know where they're going later, and it's not going to be tidy. Okay, now for the Czech Republic, our bronze medalist from the women's competition, Anna Fernstedt. Anna and Timon Drahanovsky have already had a medal in the team's competition. They got the silver medal in the World Cup race in Altenburg last February.
She had a great World Champs. She came into this, talking to her coach. They were hoping for at least a top 10, and to come away with a medal, that's amazing. She actually pushed PB'd by a 10th in the training this week, and you could just see the ice in her veins coming into training, and
her pushes were sensational. They were really close, and normally she's not a fast starter, but she's a good slider, but she also added speed at the start, and then she just kept ahead and kept putting in decent runs, and there you go.
Yeah, she's a coach in Czech Republic, and she actually moved to the same town that her coach is living in, and she's been living and breathing in the gym.
Yeah, and it shows.
Best speed, 119.
Excellent stuff from Anna Fernstedt, our bronze medalist in the women's competition. Just a little brush on the wall coming through the heart.
Almost up by 4
Across
tenths
the
here.
line, 3,700s up.
Look at that outrun. It's like a dirt road.
Yes, it is.
Oh, there's Leslie.
A little bit of sand on the track as well. They sanded the roads up and down the track yesterday evening because it was freezing again, and some of that has blown in the fierce wind today. Track not quite as quick as it was, and yeah, Les Stratton, her long-term buddy on tour, helping with the sled.
It's her cousin Timon here.
Yeah. Yeah, some people have a strange entry into the sport. I mean, how do you get in from ballet dancing or circus skills? But when your cousin, your older cousin, is kind of your hero, you follow her footsteps. And that's exactly what Timon has done. Coached by Dominic Dvorak, who was a bobsled pilot for the Czech Republic
Legend.
for the last 8-10 years. Yeah,
Legend of a pilot.
Really great, and was forced into retirement with back injuries, unfortunately. He's not the first and probably won't be the last either. Reaction time was decent.
6th best.
Yeah. Tied for the lead. Okay, this is on you, Timon. Now he's got to beat Dan Barefoot. That's not going to be easy. Not on American ice.
That way to manage that bump. The 3 and the 4. Late height in 5, going into early into 6.
Speeds higher. They do seem to actually be able to drive the track a little better with the higher speeds than they were on the slower ice a couple of days ago.
It flows so much better on faster speeds. And at first I thought, with faster speeds, I thought the highway would be a little bit more tough.
Yeah.
But it really just connects together. On slower ice, people don't know how to react. And that really was in the favor of the Americans.
So your leaders down at the bottom. Czech Republic at the top of the picture, Anna Fernstedt, and 8,200 down. So it is the USA who stay in the leaders box.
Yeah, you got to put on a coat, Anna.
Yeah, definitely.
She's going to the Bahamas tomorrow. Are you kidding me?
You know.
Where are you going tomorrow? Lake Placid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's good. I'm happy with that.
Nice job, Simone. Congratulations on an awesome season.
Yeah. Young slider, still learning his craft and full of excitement to come out here to these World Championships. There you go, family affair. So we've had cousins racing together, and a couple of weeks ago, or a month or so ago, we had a team from Denmark, which was a brother and sister together.
Yeah. Rasmus, the Moose.
Yeah. Rasmus and Nana Johansson, who's not his Nana, but his younger sister. I know, it's naming traditions, don't ask me. Now for Austria, Julia Erlacher with Alexander Schlindner. Julia first out. And what's the start? 8:77, that's a good getaway.
Oh, big skid, 1 to 2. That's a hockey stop right there. Yeah, her partner Schlindner had a great World Champs.
He kind of looked a little bit disappointed at the end of it. I think he had maybe higher hopes coming to Placid, but was what it was.
I mean, shoot, he had a great first day, and I think sometimes you have a good first day and you go home and you start getting your mind and what goes on between the ears, and you're like, I know I can do this.
Yeah. All right, in the red behind USA 2. There is another US team, another Austrian team still to come. 4,600 back, but only the 9th
big
best
skid in
speed.
17.
And this is only the 7th team.
I think the shiny ice is starting to scare athletes a little bit, because you're seeing some athletes skid into 17, and they just need to relax and get the sled on the corner and guide it around.
You see, now that's what you learn with experience of this track, but when you're coming in fresh and haven't slid it too often, you're probably still guessing where it is that you're supposed to be going at these speeds anyway.
I tell you what, I agree with you, but we can't stick up for these guys. The Americans and the Canadians, we go overseas to these tracks, and the same thing happens.
Exactly. And you guys have to try and work it out, and it takes longer if you haven't learned on those tracks like the Europeans have. So, yeah.
Oh, look at Schlindner stand there. Chest high, chin up.
Track is clear to start one for Alex.
And you know what? You know, everybody says, oh, well, home track advantage. Take it.
Sure.
Because the number of times you're racing Germans in Germany.
Sure.
Yeah. And Austrians in Austria.
Yeah, every year.
Exactly. 2 or 3 times every year as well. So, yeah, if you get that chance of a track that you know intimately, you have to take it by the horns.
Oh, fastest reaction time there. Schlittner came to play. Let's see what he can do with corner 1. Set him up for the highway. Best velocity out of 1.
To start 8:01, that's pretty quick.
Started early into 4. Late into 6. Oh, he's getting tossed and sauced around here. Third best speed out of Shady 2.
Yeah, got a decent push out of Shady, but it's not going to be enough, is it? Gap is still too large. Takes a little tap in the chicane. 6/10 back. On the left at the bottom, Dan Barefoot. On the right, Kelly Curtis. And Julia Erlacher watching her teammates. Brings the margin down, but not quite enough. So the US stay in the lead.
I wish these athletes would choreograph something in like the leader's box, you know, like maybe an arm wrestling match.
Well, that'll come. If they're there long enough and they get bored enough, they'll be doing it. 56.92 slide for Alex Schlittner.
You can see the weight being lifted off the shoulders right there.
Yeah.
Ooh, skid again right there.
And that was Julia. Julia, this year's Europe Cup champion.
Oh, great year.
So, yeah, really strong season for her. She dropped back away from the World Cup and focused on just gaining her momentum back again. And sometimes that's absolutely the thing to do.
And EC's not an easy circuit.
Hell no, it's laden with Germans.
Oh.
And they could all be in the World Cup team if the World Cup team retired overnight. Boom, they'd be right in there.
Michelle Toucan, too, right there, top 3 on EC.
There you go. Now then, Alessia Crippa and Amadeo Bagnis, the first of our Italian teams, in fact, our only Italian team. Is that right?
No.
Yeah, it is our only Italian team. No, it's not. It's the first of our Italian teams, and Italy 2 comes up next. See, that's why I'm starting to get number blind now. So Alessia, what was the start? It was an 8:81.
It's all right. I took accounting 4 times in college, so I was pretty number blind throughout my entire college career. We've all been there. She had a really good race yesterday. I think she was the top Italian finisher.
300's up. This is going to be very tight with Kelly Curtis dropping back into the red.
And her driving coach is Caleb Smith. We call him Big Red. I don't understand why Big Red, because he's kind of a small, cute guy. Hope he's listening.
Medium-sized ginger.
Oh.
You see, that doesn't have the same... Yeah. So there is a campaign underway to call turn 19, this corner, Big Red, for reasons that escape me. Third best, 3100s back, so lots of work for Amadeo Bagnis to do. A little bit of a head-in-hands moment. But she will still have
relieved.
She will still have a beaming smile on her face when she finishes. And do you know what? Everybody coming in here, whatever nation they're from, whatever position they're in, gets a whooping and a hollering and a huge reception from the fans.
And these aren't just American fans. You have German fans, you have British fans, you have some Czech fans. Are there any other countries I'm missing?
Austrians
as well.
Big Janine Flock fan club there. But it's the same, you know, if you go and slide in any of the European tracks, they cheer everybody because they love the sport.
It's a gentleman's sport.
Yeah. Sport of kings. Now then, Amadeo Bagnis, silver medalist in the World Championships in St. Moritz in 2023. That seems a whole lifetime ago, with the struggles that the Italians have had this season, making sense of their kit. They've been trying lots of different runners, lots of different sleds all through the season because, of course, next year it's a home games and they will probably not be able to compete in another one. So super important for the Italians to do as well as they can.
Do you think they'll be able to finish the track?
Track is finished. Track is going to be iced in the next couple of weeks.
Is that breaking news?
No, it was announced last week that they gave the date, I think the 24th, they're going to start icing the track.
That's great news.
Yeah, it really is great news. In fact, the first of the Athletes Village buildings was moved in today. And by moved, I mean towed. They're no, genuinely, they are big mobile homes, and they're then going to be used elsewhere in Italy. So
best speed out of 14.
Oh, and Alessia bouncing up and down. They're in the green still. This is the end of the road for the USA. And Italy take the lead, and really take the lead. Amadeo Bagnis. Alessia
fired up.
Forgets that she's supposed to be in the box, and she's just going to go and meet her teammate, and that's fantastic as well. And Amadeo is giving it the full James Bond look there with the gun on the shoulder. I think he is.
Way to turn it around.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Now he's going to leave Lake Placid with a good race under his belt, and so will Alessia. And actually, that's the way you want to leave, with this memory in your mind, and maybe a bit of a headache tomorrow morning. It has been a tough season for all the Italian sliders in the World Cup. It's been a tough season for their coach, trying to figure out how to get the best out of them and the equipment that he builds for them. And next year is the big one. So Italy lead, Italy at the block. We have an Italian leader. We will have an Italian leader after the next two sleds, but which will it be? Italy 1 or Italy 2? Valentina Margalio.
Second fastest reaction time. She's a great starter. Week over week, she's usually top 5 starter.
Yeah, 14 months though since she's been able to convert her start into a podium of any kind. And again, look at that, legs out. She's working hard to control the sled.
Very loose setup.
Not how she normally slides, but that's how it's been all year.
Now entering Shady 2.
And she's still in the green. And a big advantage over Alessia Crippa, 62 hundredths up.
12th best speed, that might catch him.
I think so, it's going to come right back down.
Ooh. 11th best speed coming out of 14.
And yet still has that 6/10 advantage. When's it going to vanish? She's just doing nothing almost.
It's the start.
56 hundredths.
Nice job.
Well, maybe that's the secret. Maybe actually don't try and tidy it up. Because when she's trying to keep the sled under her, it's just slowing her down. Maybe that's what the Willi Schneider sleds need. Just let it go.
Willi Schneider sled is, I would say, the stiffest sled on the circuit, and that's really what makes the sled fast. So I would say that's why they kind of struggled here. You know, all the top athletes, they had a loose setup going in the highway, which would then get the most speed.
The problem is they've struggled everywhere. It's got to be the right sled for somewhere, and they don't know what Milan Cortina's like yet because nobody's been on it. All we've seen is plans. It does look steep. It does look fast. For anybody who went to Cortina before, it's got Belvedere, Bandion, Antilao, Cristallo, the monster 4 curves. And it could be a really exciting track. And for athletes that competed at Torino, either in the games or on the track at Cesana, that was a great racetrack. Yeah,
but
really
he had some unfinished business as of yesterday. He had a rough heat 4, and he's one of the best sliders on the circuit.
900ths reaction time. That's superb starting from Mattia Gaspari.
Great entrance into 4. Oh, he's going to take off.
Well, he and Valentina have been World Championship medalists in their first World Championships for this sport in 2020 in Altenburg. They claimed the bronze. Jane Channel and Dave Gresh-Cheshin of Canada took the silver.
Best speed out of Shady.
Won. There we go. Let's see what he's got. 46 hundredths.
Oh, let's see the speed here. Give it to me. Nice shot. 120. Yeah, baby.
13 hundredths. It's going to be tight. Italy going to be 1-2, but who's going to be in front? Italy 1 or Italy 2? 1900s for Italy 2. So Valentina Margalio, Mattia Gaspari, they have the lead, but we still have 9 teams to go.
And these 9 teams, man, the reason that these last 9 teams are ready to go, these are the best athletes. They have the best finishes overall.
Yeah.
It's ranked off of points.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
And that's what you need. You need it to be seeded. What you don't want is for, like, Roger Federer to go second and then nobody else to be there.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, we have the Chinese team coming up, and then we have the hometown favorite of Austin Florian and Mystique Rowe. And I'll tell you something right now. Anything less than a silver for that team, I would say, is considered a failure.
All right, well, let's hope they're not putting that pressure on themselves, because they don't need any more pressure. So for China, Liu Qi and Chen Wenhao. The Chinese have entered 2 teams in each of these competitions over the last few seasons because it is so important. And in Winterberg in Germany in January, they finished 1st and 3rd. Now, it was a snow race, and they did go early before the snow really came in, but you get what you get. 886 starts.
If they have the right setup between either team, this is a sleeper team. Now entering the Devil's Highway. When I first started sliding, I heard the names of these tracks. Right, and you have Whiteface because it faces the mountain. And then you have Devil's Highway. As a new slider, when they say Devil's Highway, you're terrified.
Yeah.
And then you go into Shady, right? It's obviously because of the shade. But when I see someone who's shady, I'm like, okay, what are they going to do to me?
Exactly. Well, Shady, of course, is the corner gets most sun, ironically.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Just named after the old Shady, which was Shady. Wow. Liu Qi.
All right.
Whoa, just
200s.
creeping in front. I was going to say she's not going to get to the Italians, but she does. She creeps a couple of hundreds in front of Valentina Margallo. And that's having a tidy run through the heart. 17, 18, 19. Just squeaked in front at the line.
She had a great lower. I mean, shoot, she had a great run. The speed came from the highway. She minimized the errors. Here we go, Wenhao. The saying is, where, what, when, how did he do that?
Perhaps the most consistent of the Chinese men, but he doesn't have that little spark that the others occasionally produce to pull off a big result. So somehow they need to find just a little bit more from Chen. He is just a great skeleton athlete and good fun to be around. And to see him get into the medals on an occasion or two would be very well justified, I think.
7th best reaction. He looked a little sluggish off the start. 600s. Best speed coming out of 1. I have no idea what I'm talking about then. Now entering into 4 with a little bit of a skid. Coming out of 6 into 7.
1400s up. Just creeping away from the Italians.
He looks comfortable, man. He looks comfortable.
Ooh, the creeping has stopped. Back to 400s up. They're going to be in the red.
Ooh, a little bit of a Chinese Airlines.
Now, is he going to be able to do what his teammate did and find a little bit more below the chicane?
3rd best speed.
It's going to be close, but I don't think he's got enough. Unless he finds the shortcut. He doesn't. 2/10 back. So the Italians stay in the lead.
Looks like they're going to have themselves a little bit of a siesta.
Hey, what, Italians?
Yeah.
No, that's Spanish.
Siesta?
Yeah.
No, the Italians, the siesta is like from, it's like the nap time that they take from like 12 to 2 in the afternoon.
That's lunch.
Everyone likes to nap.
Chen Wenhao and Liu Qi for China. They slipped into 3rd place, in fact, behind Italy 2 and Italy 1. There you go. You see, they are working on it. All of them are just working on a little something. And above all else, they're working on some great helmet art as well.
Yeah, I love the helmets that the athletes have. It really gets to show you their personality outside of sliding. Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing up for this. I'm going to be biased. Mystique Rowe, silver medalist here, one of the best push athletes the United States have ever seen.
Push world champion here in 2022 and a silver medalist in the World Championships yesterday.
She lives in Lake Placid full-time, lives and breathes skeleton. Also has a non-profit, Project Push for Gold, that really allows the athletes to help grow and get a base going into their season.
8:47 start, 1600s behind Valentina Margallo at the moment.
The one thing about Mystique, she already gained him. She slides loose. She lets the sled do the work.
And that's really been working this week, and we've seen a few, and particularly Kimberly Boss, just let the sled do all the action.
10th best speed.
Ooh, is she going to build any advantage here? Was 1500s up. What's it like out of the chicane? 3400s up and still 10th best speed, but she is flying. Don't argue with the sled. Let it go down. Let gravity do the best. 4/10 up. Fantastic run from Mystique Rowe of the USA. Really excellent. 58.15.
There you go, Mystique. You know what's better than 1 medal, Martin?
Yeah.
2. Tell you what, though, we do pay for our baggage, so if she was to be traveling somewhere, she would have to pay the overweight fees.
Well, there we go.
There's Carly.
She might have to just tuck it in her socks like everybody else. This is what we refer to as doing the full Holkey, all the way down the line. High fives from, and don't leave me hanging. It's a legendary Holcomb moment.
Here we go, right now. This is the Benham Austin Florian.
Austin,
tied the start.
Down.
No, he's a cage cat. Let him go.
I know he is, but
we need the start. He tied the start record. See what he can do here. He's a cage cat. Let him out of the cage. My heart's racing. My BPM's 180. His is probably 280. 7th best reaction time. Great start, loaded. All right, Austin, now relax.
All right, game time, 9/10 up.
Come on.
They could live in the leaders box a long while. If Austin gets the sort of run that he is capable of, this could be huge for the USA.
He has some unfinished business from yesterday. I know he was a little bit of frustration. He has his family here, his wife here, Eric and Erica, mom and dad. Bunch of friends here. I saw them chugging beers in the Heart. Was a little jealous about that.
All right, 9,500.
Give me the speed. 5th best speed.
5th. All right. Is the gap going to remain constant?
He just seems relaxed. Shoot it. Yeah, baby. 4th best speed coming out of 14.
Gap's coming down from 105 to 81. They're going to lead at the line by 6,300s.
Yeah, we're actually coached by Kenny Howard. Kenny Howard coached for China, coached for GB as well. He lives here with his family, with his wife Rachel. Reggie and Ripley are his kids. Austin is fired up. He has pretty small arms, but he is fired up, ready to go. His pop's right there with the massive cowbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby, give him a hug. I'll tell you what, I asked Florian, he's actually my roommate. I said, what are you doing after the race? You want to say it with me, Martin? We're headed to Zigzags.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the time when you're on tour, especially when you're over in Europe from North America, there's just a small little group and you don't know anybody and you barely know the language and it feels quite isolated and quite internalized. It must just be so nice to have that moment where you're just in the center of an explosion of love and joy.
Here we go.
All right.
This is a sleeper team I'm excited to see. Don Zhao, she threw down, I think, heat 2.
Yeah, heat 2. She was 14th in heat 1, 1st in heat 2, and then 15th again in heat 3. So she has it.
It's a one-heat race.
Yeah. Which one of those comes out here? 3,300s back from the start.
14th best speed.
Xiaodan is one of the younger Chinese sliders, and her former development coach, who's back with the Chinese development program, reckons that she is probably the best that he has seen from China. Again, it's consistency on the tracks, and that's time and repetition.
And even then, you can do work in the summer by laying on your sled and doing mine runs, but it isn't until you lay on that sled and you feel the G's on your chest and your hips. 12th best speed coming out of 14.
Still 6/10 back. She's really not able to close the gap at all. So USA are going to have the lead here.
Half a second.
Half a second.
That's a comfortable lead, but they have a young man standing at the top of the track right now. I think he's 20 years old. Fun fact for you, we actually competed against each other on EC, and he walked by me and he grabbed my arms like I was a little boy. The most uncomfortable thing I've ever felt. I have nightmares about it.
Yeah, Xiaodan and Lin Jin Wei. So that is
Great
Dan's
smile.
effort. Yeah. And actually, you know, when they arrived, the Chinese teams, both in bobsleigh and skeleton, because the language barrier, were very inward-looking. They are really very much a part of the fraternity now. They all speak good English. They communicate with everybody. And, yeah, that sort of imposed isolation, if you like, just doesn't exist.
And it's like we're all competing against each other, and it's like you want to make these rivals against these countries, but they're all great individuals, great men and women.
Well, the problem is you're not competing against each other.
Sure.
You're just competing against the clock and yourself.
Exactly.
And so you're all literally in the same boat. There's nothing they can do to ruin your race or you theirs. It's all internal. And I think that's the key thing, is that the rivalry stops on ice, and inside, everybody wants to see everybody else do well.
Second best speed out of 1, a little close into 3, mitigated the bump in 3 into 4. 6/10 back.
I wonder if he stopped growing yet.
No.
I mean, he is a tall, strong guy.
He's terrifying.
And he's going to get taller, and well, he might not get taller, but he's going to get stronger. Yeah, bringing the gap back. Where are we now? What's the margin going to be? How close are they? 4900's back. He is chipping away at it, but the US are going to have this at the line. The Chinese are not going to get them. Yeah, 2800's back, so Austin Florian on the left, Mystique Rowe on the right, still with the lead. Xiao Dan offers her congratulations. And Lin Yen Qianwei, a pretty strong hair game, Lin, as well, you've got to say. Look, I don't know how he manages to keep it looking the way it does when he takes the helmet off.
I'm not going to say anything mean about this guy.
No.
He stands over top of me, slides well, pushes well. Handsome, handsome.
Look at the hair. How does it do that when he's just taken the helmet off?
I think John Daly might have better hair than him.
Nah, John has got a real rival there.
John, if you're listening, that was Martin Haven that said that.
Daly knows that there is hair.
Here we go. Germany won.
All right, so.
Oh, there's Moose. There he is.
There's Rasmus Johansson. Yeah, he had a disappointing Worlds.
All right, Susie.
He hoped.
He's a young athlete. He has such a long career in front of him.
So Suzanne Kreher and Axel Jung. Suzanne Kreher, the 2023 Women's Skeleton World Champion. And she and Axel won in February last year in Altenburg. She won with Christopher Grother, took the World Championship gold in St. Moritz. So that was a really big week for her. Women's gold and team gold.
15 best speed here. Germany has been struggling here, which is a surprise. They put on a clinic everywhere around the world. They have a great program. They have a great trainer with Toby, great head coach.
And Axel Jung is a serial botherer of World Championship podiums when it comes to team competition. He's got 4 golds, 3 in the old 4 format, and 1 of these.
You know what they say? He shows up and he lets it hang out.
Yeah.
He shows out.
There's something about the team competition that really, I don't know whether it relaxes the pressure or just something.
It's the pride.
He always does well.
It's the pride of having someone to your left and right, a foxhole mentality.
600.
600.
Sneaked it in at the line.
She had a great bottom half. The speed wasn't that much. The speed wasn't all there coming out of Shady 2, coming out of 14, but somehow.
Well, she came from 3600s down in the labyrinth to just dip over the line, 600s up.
Nice job, Susie. Way to turn it around. She got, what, 6 yesterday?
Yeah, day 1 she looked a bit, I'm not going to say lost, but a bit confused. Yesterday, the smile was genuine, and that was more of a genuine smile. The first day, the smile was a look at the camera and a movement of the mouth. She was not a happy bunny. But Axel was. Axel really enjoyed his World Championships.
See that scream he let out after he medaled?
Well, look, and he comes from Altenburg. That's where he started.
Right.
You know, lives in Dresden, slid in Altenburg all his life. So this is home from home, literally home from home, because it's the same kind of track.
He's one of the best slotters in the world. Great mustache as well.
And an Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's got what it takes.
Would you rather have an Olympic silver medal or a great mustache?
I don't have to question that. He has both. A winner in St. Moritz as well in January with Jackie Pfeiffer. They won the World Cup race there, so yet another team gold on his portfolio. That's the German from Mantelpiece. 3400s back from 2500s back at the start. Now, this is the same deficit that Suzanne Crea just unraveled all the way down.
He's going backwards right now.
Yeah,
where's the speed?
Suzanne was
Give me the speed. 15th best speed here. He looks clean, but he's just not taking the fast route down.
And don't forget, this is a near-dead heat between the female sliders. So this is him versus the man on the left, Austin Florian. Austin thinks he's done enough. He's watching it. He's watching himself, watching him. Across the line. Wow.
The one thing about the team in the leaders box with Austin Florian, he's been part of every team race this year that have medaled. He's medaled with Sarah Roderick and medaled with Mystique Rowe.
That's right. Yeah, they took the silver in St. Moritz. I'd forgotten the race with Sarah.
She threw down too.
And Katie, he got a bronze with Katie Uhlaender in Altenburg in February last year, at the end of last season. And
he's frustrated here.
Yeah.
Although he's a killer. Although he took bronze yesterday, he shows up for the third day in a row, expects greatness.
I wonder whether he's just gone the wrong way on settings, because it looked like it should have been a quick run, but the time just kept running away with him.
Via drinking beer and zigzags.
That'll be, you can't win them all.
All right, we got GB1.
Yeah.
We got Tabitha.
This could be a very interesting team.
Top 5 starter week over week here. My heart's starting to race again. I'm going to have to stand up.
Tabby and Matt Weston took silver in the World Championships last year in Winterberg in Germany.
I think she was happy with her. I think she came down in 11th place in this World Champs. I think she was happy with that. She doesn't have too many runs on this track. She came from ballet as well. No,
she came from circus skills. She was a trapeze artist.
That's insane.
It is insane. Who even knew that was a thing? But boy, she's fun to watch slide.
She's always happy.
Yeah.
Always saying, hey, you guys, always cheering on her teammates. That's the one thing about the GB team that I envy. They're a foxhole team, and they train together, they work together. 10th best speed coming out of Shady 2.
Right, but still 4/10s back, not making any impression at all on the slide of Kelly Curtis. Gets pinged through the chicane, 8th best speed. She's found a 10th, but still 1/3 of a second back. This is going to be, if she gets anything at the line, it's going to be by fractions. 1600s. How far back? How far back? What did it say on the screen?
1600s.
2200s, it says.
Is that enough? I mean, you got the man of the hour, Matt Weston, who beat the field by 2 seconds top of the hill.
2200s back.
Unfortunately, Matt has false started in, I think, 2 of the 4 team races. But although he's false started, he has walked away with the medal.
Yeah.
The kid has torn up this track. Oh, she's fired up. That's a nice job.
Yeah.
Here we go, Matt Weston.
She does love it to bits. I mean, who doesn't? You know, nobody does this because they don't love it. You have to do it for love because there sure ain't no money.
Is that a quote of a song?
Yeah. It will be.
All right, Matt Weston.
So silver medalists in last year's World Championships. Tabby Sturcker and Matt Weston. He's not taken a team gold. His teammate Marcus Wyatt has with tabs. And that was in Altenburg last December.
2/10s back.
All right.
Let's see what he can do here.
Well, don't forget, that's not his start versus Austin's. That's the accumulated time of the team now that is running. Total time split by split for USA versus GB. 2500s back. So the gap is growing a little. He's actually 900s down on Austin alone.
He's starting to fly here. We'll see his speed coming out of Shady 2.
Right, so he stopped the bleeding.
5th best speed. Usually makes the money on the bottom portion of the track. He usually points the sled straight here. 4th best speed.
Oh, not the cleanest chicane. Austin can't watch. He's hiding behind the cushions on the sofa.
I'm anxious too.
He's only 200s behind Austin Florian, so he's got to undo the deficit of Teddy Stalker. He doesn't.
If there's a team to beat, that was the team. Oh, look at Austin. Fired up, baby. He wants a medal. He knows he can medal. Mystique Rowe, cool, calm, and collected.
All right, well, it's not double gold for Matt Weston. The great Martins Ducours heads out to get the sled.
And that's the difference between regular people and elite athletes. Regular people would be happy with that finish. Matt, you saw him put his head down. He wanted that medal.
Yeah, but he's happy just to finish. There's his mum in the green coat. His dad's there somewhere.
Martin Ducours? I said Marcus Ducours. Kind of looks like a Marcus.
Well, again, Tabs through the chicane. She just got a little tag and a double tap. And the same for Matt Weston. Yeah, start was clean this time, but just a little too much. Double pistol fingers. Whoa. Okay, now then, Amelia Coltman and Marcus Wyatt. This could be very entertaining indeed. Let's see what they've got. There are 2 teams to go after this, so whoever is the leader at the end of these 2 runs will be in the medals.
23rd best velocity out of corner 1.
At the moment, it's USA 1, GB 1, and China, who are the top 3 teams. 5300s back, 5800s back. I mean, and this is showing just what a run Kelly Curtis laid down. Mystique Rowe rather laid down, never mind Austin Florian.
14th best speed coming out of 14. I love that helmet she has.
Yeah.
She flies planes as a hobby in the summer.
Clean through the chicane, but brings it back to 4/10. This is leaving a massive deficit for Marcus Wyatt to unravel. He's got to be nearly 4/10 quicker than Austin Florian in one run just to get into the medals.
I mean, I think he could do it. He's a great slider.
He is.
Great push athlete, great slider.
And this is a crazy race. Anything can happen.
She's got a little bit of blood on her chin as well.
Yeah, well, she has cut and recut her chin all week long. I think almost every run she's just pulled the scab off again.
All right, we got Marcus Wyatt here.
Track is clear.
Winner with Tabby Stoker in December last year in Altenburg.
I actually believe he learned sliding from Eric Quinotes, who was actually inducted into the USABS Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Eric is here this weekend. Caught up with him yesterday. So I think his induction is this evening, in fact.
Yeah, EB, if you're listening, we want you back at USABS.
Well, he's off doing cycling and kayaking and canoeing and all sorts of stuff.
All right, here we go. See the speed coming out of corner 1. 6th best speed.
So the deficit was 3600s, Amelia Coltman to Mystique Rowe, and he is currently 800s behind Austin Florian as well. So the total is losing time to Florian. He's 1100 slower than Florian at this stage. The gap is growing, 36 to 47. Now he's starting to turn it round, but this has to be another miracle on ice if he's going to take the lead here.
I see what you did there.
There you go. That's once and once only, I promise. 3500, 6th best speed, but
high line in 17.
Not enough, is it? There's not enough ice left. He needs another couple of 100 meters. He's going to close the gap, but nothing like enough. 3900's back. So Great Britain too dropped down to 4th position.
The elevator he did.
USA are in the medals. Austin gets a World Championship medal. Mystique gets a 2nd. The question is now, of what colour?
Well, fun fact, Florian's actually colorblind, so I don't know if he'll know what color the medal is.
I think he'll know if the next 2 teams don't beat them. He'll have worked it out.
All right, we got Germany too here.
Yeah, there you go. That was Amelia Coltman. And the start for Marcus Wyatt. Well, the Brits finished 1-2 in the World Cup. The Brits finished 1-2 in the World Championships. He took the World Championship silver. And teammate there, Matt Weston, took the gold. But no team medal guaranteed. Now, it's not out of the question. If we're in Winterberg or Altenburg or Königssee or somewhere, then you would think, yeah, the Germans are a shoo-in. Right. Here, that ain't it.
Basically anywhere but North America.
Yeah.
She's a great slider. One of the best Germany has seen.
And yet didn't have a great Worlds. It just did. She needs to be perfect on the ice because her drive is great, but her starting isn't. And Jacka Pfeiffer just couldn't put 4 runs together here.
Tatterley getting bumped down into 4.
And it real telltale is you're watching her toes dragging almost all the way. She's just hedging her bets on all the steers there.
Speaking of hedging bets, I was listening to the race yesterday, and you said you bet on Skeleton.
I said, if you want to give away $10, bet on this race, especially the women's skeleton race. That was craziness. 10th best speed, 4800s back.
8th best speed here.
I know Christopher Gronehair is a 3-time world champion, but this is going to be a very big ask. Jacka won in 2020 in Altenburg.
She reeled it in.
Took the gold
700s here
with Alex Gassner. And that's where she makes all the money, down at the bottom of the track. If the Germans dropped her from a team from 2 seasons because she doesn't start, guys, she gets medals at the other end of the track.
And I know yesterday, in the last couple of days, she had a sour taste in her mouth.
Yeah.
Her family's here. There's a big banner of her face on the wall there.
Yeah.
So she has the love and the support, and she was ready to rock and roll today. Here we go, Mr. Patty, they call him.
Well, now then, Chris Gronehair, 3-time world champion and Olympic champion. It hasn't been about 5 years for Chris as
Not
it
at all.
goes. And there's no suggestion that he won't be a challenge for the gold in Cortina next winter either.
There's one athlete to learn a track overnight. I would hedge my bet on him.
Well, and he's been around a while, so it's not just the last 5 years. Those have been the purple patch, but he was sliding for nearly a decade before that as well. He has been here plenty of times, and only 700s in it. This is a dead heat. This is him versus Austin Florian for the medal.
Here we go. He had a rough world champs here, which is no one ever says when he slides.
Yeah.
So that was very surprising.
Yeah.
7th best speed coming out of 1. Ooh, bump down into 4. He'll reel it back here.
6/10 is a big margin to undo.
He's fighting the sled here. You can see his little steers with his knees here.
Gap's growing, 6400s.
6th best speed.
He's just jiggly on it the whole way down, isn't he? Constantly rethinking.
What's the speed here? Show me the speed.
5th best speed, 6/10 back through the chicane. It's not coming their way. USA lead, GB a 10th back. If he's less than a 10th back, he's a long way back. Ooh. They're down in 5th. It is at least a silver for the USA. All right, you can feel free to stand up again, whether it's for your back or just because.
I'm anxious, okay? We have 2 dominant athletes coming up. You have Sammy Meyer.
Yeah. Chris Gronehair. All right. Not every day is your day. And that's why it's called racing and not just winning.
Sammy told me he was pretty excited about this race. He's a great teammate with Janine Flock.
Yeah. But they both need a bit of redemption from this Worlds.
Sure. I mean, Heat 4, they both threw down.
Yeah.
So I think if they bring that momentum in from yesterday, oh.
Yeah. Well, Jacka Pfeiffer and Christopher Gronehair not going to claim victory. Gronehair has 3 World Championship golds in this discipline. The Austrians have never won it in its current format. Janine Flock gets them underway, our World Cup champion for the 3rd time this season.
This is the dark horse team here, guys. If you're watching at home, wherever you are, this could be the team to do it.
They are seeded 1, so it's
well, you watch
the least dark horse of all dark.
I mean, you
do you know what, honestly, the way Mystique slid and the way Austin slid, it is going to be really, really tough. But again, like Jacqueline Lurling, Janine doesn't make her lead at the start.
Starting to reel back in now.
She makes it on the ice.
13th best speed coming out of Shady 2. A little early into 13. Ooh. Ping-ponging around like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
17th best speed.
Half a second back and losing speed. What's the deficit going to be at the line? Half a second.
Ooh. Sammy Meyer, you have a big task.
It is a monumental undertaking for anybody. She is frustrated. I think that's been the story of her Worlds, really. Didn't quite gel with the track. And that's a rarity, but it happens.
She's the best. She's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. And this is her 13th World Champions. Can you imagine that? 13 World Champs and 3 Olympic Games as well. All right, Sammy.
Yeah, some redemption here. Sammy's a big WWE fan here.
Right now, it's USA 1, Great Britain 2, China 3. 2800s back are the Chinese. So if Sammy can reel in
it's moving around a little bit.
2 tenths, but he needs to find 2 tenths over Austin Florian to make this a thing. At the moment, they're 4700s back. He's got to get it back under 2800s.
He has some redemption here, going into 3. See if he can set up his highway. Nice entrance into 4, coming into 5.
A second back. They're not going to win this.
I don't think so, Mark.
They're not going to get a medal, not from that range. Sammy has not been on fire
into
all
Shady
week.
2. What's the speed here?
Chiseling away, but
just fighting the track, fighting the sled, second best speed.
The top 10 is covered by under a second. Never mind the top 3.
He's boogieing. What's the speed? 6th best speed.
It's just
second
not
back.
enough. He's not bringing it back. It's still 9 tenths back.
The Americans did it on their home track.
They have done
Mystique
it.
Rowe, Austin Florian.
They take
gold, baby.
And it is 10th for the Austrians, gold for the USA, silver for Great Britain, and the first World Championship team medal, a bronze for China.
The booth is shaking in here. The monitors are moving. Martin, I had a great time, man, but I'm going to have to leave you. I'm going to have to go chest bump my teammates.
Well,
this was an awesome
think you
time.
ought to, mate. Good luck with that.
I see Zigzags did not drink 1 beer. What? 2 beers? What? But 3 beers.
All right, end of season party in Zigzags. It's the place to be. And it is where Skeleton will head tonight. And for Janine Flock and Sammy Meyer,
full fire.
Not in the medals. They slipped down to 10th position. Neither of them really gelled with the Lake Placid track. Their seasons have been exceptional, which is why they were ranked number 1. But their World Championships, not so much.
What an awesome season they had, though.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He was the European champion, and she was the European champion as well.
And he's had the best season of his life, and Janine's certainly one of the best, if not the best of her life. But gold World Championship victory for Austin Florian and Mystique Rowe. So for Mystique, a 2nd medal in 2 days, and for Austin, a 1st World Championship medal, and it is the big one. And representing the USA, and that has to mean something very special as well. With his friends and family watching just across the finish dock. Yeah, it's a good place to be for the US sliders. They lay down a smoking run each. They both had great starts. They really threw down the gauntlet, and nobody else got there.
I'm definitely hanging out with him tonight. I can only imagine what him and the boys are going to do.
Well, you're looking at a man in the very early stages of a major hangover. Mystique Rowe and Austin Florian, congratulations. Well, what a worlds for Mystique as well. Silver in the individual competition and the gold in the teams. USA 1, GB 1, and China 2 taking the bronze medal. And that was Chao Dan and Lin Chen Wei. GB, Germany and Italy rounding out the top half dozen. We had a tie for 6th place in the end. Italy and Germany won. And there you go, the rest of Spain had their time in the leaders box as well. They had a really good race. Well, there are your podium finishers.
Everyone seems so relaxed, so thankful that these last 3 days are over. And I know that they want to give a big shout out to the track crew, the volunteers, Jen Mott here, Orta. They put on a great event.
100%. It's always a joy to come to Lake Placid, joy to race in the States, Lake Placid, Park City, and of course in Whistler in Canada. But this is a very big sport in a small country town, a long way from a big metropolis. And the fans know it. The fans know the athletes. The athletes get recognised and spotted in town. They are known here. This is a really major place for the sport, and it's just always a joy to come back here. And here's the next 95 years of sliding in Lake Placid. Maybe in 5 years there'll be a special event to celebrate that centenary. It'll be another Olympic year in 5 years, and those games will be in France. But we look forward now, as the skeleton season ends, everybody will start their preparation for the games in Cortina. Until then, from me, Martin Abram, from Nick Tucker, from the entire TV crew, thanks for being with us for the Skeleton Worlds. Bobsleigh continues tomorrow and next weekend. We'll see you then. Bye for now.